Hi, it's Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and today we have Merrick McCartha with us, and we're going to talk about marketing. So we've been talking a lot about marketing for actors on the vlogs lately. In fact, we even had the amazing guys from Casting About come on.
I saw that. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was good info right there.
If you haven't watched
Yeah.
that, go back and find
Casting
watch,
About. The
Yeah.
Casting About guys.
It's a two-parter,
Yeah.
and it's worth your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I thought we would talk about today is just, acting is hard.
Yes.
So I think you have to be somebody that really loves it,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody that's really motivated, because 2% of actors that submit get auditions. That's
Where did you get that statistic?
Casting About.
Casting
About. But
2%.
yeah, between 2 and 5%, depending on the job and how many. And also, I think the statistic is 2% of actors make an actual living at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So if you're auditioning, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it probably counts in a lot of people who are really doing this part-time, which is
Right.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do this part-time, that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that at all.
But as an actor, what have you seen over the years? Because you audition fairly regularly. You have good representation. You
Yep.
also are very involved with your career.
Yes.
So talk about that.
I feel like as an actor, and I look at I look at this as my career, not just something I want to have fun with and be on camera. But it takes time. It takes practice. It takes training. It takes some social savvy as well, some business knowledge about this. Just like any serious career, it takes a lot to put into it. Even when you're not just doing the actual job, there's several other things you've got to work on. So marketing is one of the biggest things that I think
Mm-hmm.
actors tend to miss out on for their career. A lot of actors are very concerned with training, which is great. A lot of actors are very concerned with work. They're constantly submitting to get work, which is great also. But the marketing part is a key factor in there also. So I just wanted to kind of go over a couple things about one aspect of marketing that maybe actors overlook, that maybe can help you strengthen your visibility with the industry, and that would be dealing with postcards. As we know, postcards are what you send to people in the industry to kind of let them know, hey, this is who I am, and you kind of get their attention sort of with this thing. And so there are some different ways that actors are taught to use these postcards. The postcard typically has your photo or headshot on the postcard, and then something on the back that you write to the person that you're sending it to. Most often, casting directors are sent postcards. I mean, you can't send them to producers, you can send them to directors, you can send them to agencies that you're trying to get a meeting with. I mean, these are things you can do. But I've found that sometimes people don't understand how to properly use them, and they just go, postcards don't work.
Right.
They don't
And postcards were a huge thing years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like, postcards don't work. I'm not going to do postcards anymore.
Yeah.
But that's not really what we're hearing, and that's
No.
not what you're seeing.
No. You want to keep on top of postcards. I mean, sure, we're in the digital age. Yes. Sure, there's online. You've got your website. That's great. However, one of the things that you try to do is make sure that people that can hire you or help, propel you in the industry, see your face, have an idea of what you are, or at least are reminded of you. And that's a key point I think we're going to talk about, is having something to remind them of you. And that's what I think one of the more effective ways of a postcard is to be used, is to remind them of you.
Well, and not only that, you have to, several of my guests have covered this, and I've said this before. You always want to come at it as I have something to help you.
Mm-hmm.
I have something for you.
Yeah.
You know, a casting director has a job. Their job is to find 5 great, qualified, amazing people to show to their client, which is the director, the producer,
network
whoever,
people. Yeah.
whoever's in charge of the final decision. So that casting director, when they find good people, that makes them look good, and they get more jobs. So you know, casting directors want to call you in. Casting directors want you to be the right person. That helps them. So when you go at it, you know, at that, hey, I'm here to help. I've got something to offer you.
Mm-hmm.
Not, hey, hire me, hire me.
Right, exactly. And one thing that people forget is that, and I'll say this over and over, and I hope on your show you say this over and over again, that the casting office is part of a process, and they have someone that they work for. They're working for a studio. They're working for a particular producer. They were hired because they've shown that they can produce actors of a certain type or caliber that will fill the needs of a project. So you are a potential client for the casting person. That casting person is a client for someone else. So like Peggy was saying, they want to get people in to show to their bosses, hey, look what I got. This is what I brought in. So you realize that they're in need. They are in need to fill an item on producing this project. And you want to come across as the person that will fill that need. Not just hire me, but hey, I know what your needs are. I fit that category. I have this skill, that will make me great for this. Take a look at me and let me come in and show you what I can do for your project.
And back to the casting about, guys. You know, Actors Access, casting about. If, you can go in and see who is casting what show.
Right.
Can I tell about what my client? I just had a client.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I tell that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right. So
is it your show?
It kind of is, except for
All
when
right.
you're on here. Somebody told me once that they like the vlog that I do with you.
Okay.
As in your vlog.
All right.
Anyway, I had a client just last week.
Mm-hmm.
Last week that came in that watched the vlog with the Casting About guys and sat down and did everything, like blew my mind, did everything, and came up with like 7 casting directors that cast shows that he's a fit for.
Mm-hmm.
So he came in, he's like, I don't really need headshots, I need marketing shots. And he came in and we did looks for each specific, you know, a different look for each specific casting director. Like one did maybe crime shows, so he wanted to, you know, show that he was a fit for that. One, you know, one was a doctor's show. He wanted to show he was a fit for that. So, you know, that's really what it takes nowadays. You've got to be specific.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he wrote a cute little thing on it. And then, you know, it was like, hey, congratulations, I see you're casting, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that Casting About, if you haven't picked up from watching that great 2-part episode, is that they're fantastic for targeting, target marketing yourself, and being informed about what's happening in the industry. It's an amazing tool what you can do with that. So yeah, you want to use your postcards in the sense that you've already done the homework to figure out what's being cast, who's casting what that you would be a fit for. If you like a show and you're like, man, I'd be awesome on that show, you can look up who the casting director is, who their associates are, who their assistants are on Casting About, and now you've got some more insight onto how to market yourself. You know these, and understand that sometimes they jump from project to project. You go to one show and you see they're not only casting your show, but they're also casting some new film, or they're casting multiple shows that may also be a fit for you. So now you've got this protracted capability with marketing to them that you can possibly consider for other projects. So stay on top of your marketing, and it takes work, it takes time, and you need to really think about how you're going to go about doing this. I would not suggest, and we talked about this, how people have said, you know, postcards don't work, and I've sent them out, they don't work. Well, how are you sending them out? Were you sending them out to a casting person that you've never went in for, that doesn't know who you are, and you're saying, hey, I'm an actor, hire me, or hey, I'm an actor, look at me. They get that already all day, every day. And that's going to be the least effective way to get attention and be effective with postcards is sending them out blindly to people that have no knowledge of who you are. So the best way to use postcards, in my view, is after you've already been into their office to audition, or you've met them at a showcase that you've done, and you are reminding them of you with that postcard. So understand that casting people, they see headshots all day, every day. Thousands and thousands of people they have no experience with at all. They've never auditioned for them. They've never seen them on anything. So just to count on just that postcard suddenly sparking them to bring you in, it's a tall order. So for postcards, I highly recommend you focus on casting offices that you've already been in to see or already know you, or maybe they have a really good relationship with your rep, and you can kind of work that out with your representation, saying, hey, I want to, I am rep by this agency who you call in all the time, something like that. You want to be clever. I'll get into more details about that as well. But like we said, one client came in for you. He wanted marketing shots. Novel idea.
I was like, why doesn't everybody
not
do
just
this?
headshots, but marketing shots.
Yeah. And he ended up using a couple of them for headshots, but he came in for marketing shots.
And the idea is you want the casting person to see what you're like in this environment, in this mode, in this type, as sort of in a cinematic way. And that's the kind of shot that you took for them. And that does help the casting director figure out, hey, what can I use this person for? I mean, headshots are great, and they have a very straightforward marketing effect for people, but the marketing shot is sort of it's a still, but it's sort of a sense of you, how you are in that world. And that's something that can be done and can be effective for postcards as well. All right? So postcards, again, I've been to offices where they have postcards pinned up on a bulletin board when you walk in. They're happy to get them, and they show what you wrote.
Well, think about it. I mean, they get bazillion emails a day. They're looking at digital all the day. Yeah. How excited are you when you get like a mail from grandma that's an actual handwritten letter? I mean, it's
and $20.
Yeah, and $20. My grandma gives me $2 bills, but
so yeah.
But you know what I mean. So it's a novelty. It's something that not everybody is doing.
It's a tactile effect on them. And I think about psychology a lot. One of my teachers is Billy Coward, who's also been on your show.
Yes, he has.
He's a very cerebral kind of guy. He understands that incorporating with acting, but also with marketing. And that's one thing I learned about from him is you want to kind of get in ahead of what works in a marketing sense for them. And one of them is how to help them, not just how to beg them to hire you. So the postcard is something that's tactile. They pick it up, they can see it, and they might toss it. Yeah, they might pin it up on a wall. Yeah, they might barely glance at it and throw it in a pile of other things. But psychologically, and this might be a little heady, you've got an image in their head suddenly. Even if it's a split second, they've seen your face, they've seen your image. And what happens is, once they see that image on the postcard, then they go to their sea of headshots and thumbnails they're looking at on their computer. Psychologically, what happens is the ones you are more familiar with are the more attractive to you. And not just romantically attractive, but attractive as in appealing, like you want to engage with that person. So they've seen your face a number of times. They've gotten their brain into the idea that you're someone who is attractive to them, and you're more inclined to get picked out of the sea because they've seen your face in different areas multiple times. And in the case of a postcard, they maybe have seen you come in before, or they've seen you on another project, and then and now when they go back to cast, this guy, or this young lady, or this person, whatever, and they are more inclined to get you in that way. So postcards can be effective if you use them the right way. Okay, they are great for if you want to put your headshot on. I mean, one side of the argument is you go to Peggy, you get headshots. And then you use those headshots on your casting profiles, like Actors Access or LA Casting or Casting About. And now these are the headshots or thumbnails that these casting people see when they're looking at submissions. So people say, well, great, I'm going to put my headshot on that postcard. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, especially if you haven't really been in there before. It's fine to throw your headshot on so they kind of have another look at your face. So when they come to the exact same headshot, that you're more familiar to them.
Hey,
and
that guy's or that lady sent me a
Yeah,
postcard.
like I just saw this person.
Yeah,
It
who
may,
is that? And
they
maybe-
may not even remember that you sent the postcard.
Yeah, it could just be
They're
kind of
just
subconscious.
it's subconscious. You're just in their head. So think about that when you're using postcards. What to put on the postcard? What do you put on the postcard? What would you put? What would you have actors put on the postcard?
I think that do research, find out. Go into casting find out who's casting, what they're casting, and then see if there's anything that you have a connection with.
Mm-hmm.
Find out a little bit about them. Oh, they're from so and so. I'm from so and so. Or oh, they're casting they just got a new project, or oh, they're doing their own thing over here for the first time. Right? Hey, I saw that you just got this. Congratulations.
Right, and
then
you're savvy. You always want to make sure that you don't cross the line with your research. And when you
don't be
notify them.
stalkerish.
Yeah.
Don't be stalkerish.
So hey, I'm from Kansas. I also live down the street, and I went by your house the other day. It's still there. And it's like,
Yeah, no, that's
No.
But don't be a stalker. But know enough. Know what they're casting. Know what projects they're working on.
Yeah.
And then say something like, "Hey, I've made my whole career out of being a doctor. I see that you've got doctors.
Yeah.
Keep me in mind."
Right. I see you're casting X-rays anatomy, and I usually am cast as a doctor, and I make a career out of that. I do very well, and that's great also. And when you're saying that you kind of want to put something on there to kind of get their attention, it doesn't always. Sometimes it doesn't even. You want to keep it business related, but it doesn't need to be a straightforward sell at all. Even if you've been in to see them before or never been to see them before, it can be something simple as, hey, I saw you're now casting this new show. Congratulations. Just want to make sure you know the show. It looks really great. I see you got a lot of doctors in there. I play doctors all the time. Hope to see you soon. And that's it. That's it. I mean, everything is implied. Sure, you want them to call you, and they know this. That's why they got the postcard. But at least you're showing them that you care. You took some time to look into something for them. You've given them congratulations, and you're not just about you. You're about acknowledging their success, and that's actually pretty powerful. So keep that in mind too. And do you recommend people filling out like a whole story on the postcard, or you keep it?
No, I don't think it's a resume. I think it should be, just quick. Nobody's going to read it. I think the more words there are, when somebody sends me a text message that splits up into 5 things, I don't read it. And I think that's human nature. Or an email that's like miles long, I'm like,
Yeah.
you can call me.
Yeah.
So, something nice, simple, cute,
Yeah,
quick.
and most of us are reasonable. Try to think about what's us in a reasonable sense. How do we react to certain types of marketing? Like Peggy said, when you get a text message and it's got 3 and 4 different chunks of words in it, and a lot of times some phones, they don't line it properly, so one chunk is the first part, the next chunk is the third part, the next chunk is the second part. So
he uses an Android.
Hey. So just think about what that means when you get something like that. How you feel overwhelmed to the point where I'm not even going to waste my time.
Yeah.
Or you get an email that's like just this brick of words, and you're like, oh man, no, I can't take this seriously. Same idea goes with the postcards.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet. I would recommend. I do mine where I put them in an envelope that usually forces them to open it because they're not 100% sure it's a postcard, so they do have to open it, look at it, see that it's at least a postcard where my face is already planted, and even if they're about tossing away, they've at least had to look. Whereas if you don't put an envelope, it comes as a postcard. It's not even glanced at. It's like.
It could be. You don't know. You never know.
Never know, but I try to hedge my bets on envelope because they're piles of
Right,
postcards.
it might be a $2 bill from grandma.
They may have a person in the office that just weeds out the postcards and tosses them in a bin. I don't know.
But no more expensive than it is. I don't recommend sending it to every casting director in LA.
No.
I think it makes sense to be direct. Either casting directors you've been before,
Mm-hmm.
you've already read for them before, they already have seen you.
Mm-hmm.
And, or, you know, you go through and like, these are shows that I'm an absolute fit for. I should be on this show.
Right.
So, you know, narrow it down.
Sure.
Because otherwise you're just, you know.
No, I agree.
It's too much.
And here's some examples. All right, let's talk about the examples of this, where you are with your career. First, you've never been to that office before. Your postcard may be something like, hey, I see you casting this show. I'm a great fit for it. Here's, you see my headshot. But I see you casting a show that has a lot of doctors. I'm a great fit for that. Hopefully I'll see you soon. It could be as simple as that. It's going to be not as effective as the one you send after you've at least auditioned for them. And you say, hey, thanks for having me in for, Dr. Ford or whatever. If they show you casting, it was a great, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully I'll be back in and see you guys soon. That can be a simple, effective postcard. Because now you told them, you've already called me in. You told them that you know what they're casting. You told them you're a great fit for the show, and you've acknowledged the thank you, like, hey, I appreciate you. Boom, go on to the next one. Here's another one. At the end of the year, what I do sometimes, and I need to update my system on this itself, is sort of the beginning of the season, I'll send out a batch of postcards to all the offices that I've been in the previous season, and I'll say, hey, thanks for calling me in on this show and that show last season. I hope to be back in soon, and that can be an effective postcard. It lets them know they've already called you in, and this is again reinforcing or reminding them of you, which is important. And I say that is because, again, they see a lot of thumbnails all day long, and as much as they might like you in that audition room, it's easier for them to sort of get drowned out in the sea of people they've got to see all the time and the workload they have. And all it may take is a simple reminder of your face and reminding them that what you went in for. And they go, oh yeah, that's right, I remember this guy. He came in, he was good. And now you're just on that mind. If they're not casting something immediately at that moment, when your name, when your headshot comes up, yeah, this guy's in the yeah, I remember that guy was good. Let me get that guy in. Or they may be casting something. You happen to be at the right time, the day before you send a postcard. Yeah, I got a guy like that. Let me call that guy in. I've gotten all these things where I've gotten a request from casting offices because they got my postcard. It reminded them of me, and they called me without my agent even submitting. So these are the...
We see that a lot. When you send out, when you're targeted, we see that you get called in for a lot of auditions that you didn't submit for, your agent didn't submit for.
Yeah.
And so it's literally that. They're like, oh yeah, I remember him.
Right.
He'd be a fit for
and
this.
Again, I only do this at the beginning of the season, right? Really at the beginning of the year, I've been doing this more so, but it should be a little bit more, maybe every season, maybe for what's called pilot season and the beginning of what's called episodic season. But you're right, when I do send these out, suddenly I'm getting auditions that weren't submitted for. They just were reminded of me, and they called me in for things. And that's why I say it can be very effective. And what you want with this is to continue to build a relationship with your casting person. One, that you're professional, that you're going to be easy to work with, because they look for signs of that too. If you're sending the big chunk of words in a postcard, then they get the impression you're kind of overbearing, and there's nothing more terrible for them than for them to hire you and find out you're a big pain on set and that you're overbearing. So they look for red flags on that. So just be careful. No need to tell them your life story. No need to tell them how you were, the star of your 8th grade recital. It's really just keep it simple, and that'll be enough.
Okay, guys, so we're going to have to wrap it up for part 1, but come back next week, and Merrick and I are going to talk about more marketing things. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube. Make sure you do that. Click the little bell so you don't miss any of my amazing videos. Follow him all over social media. He is at Merrick the Actor. I'll have his links down below. Is that your
It's
handle?
Merrick the Actor, yes.
So Instagram.
Yes.
You're never on Twitter, are you?
I am never on Twitter.
He's a Facebook guy. That's
Never
where you
on
can
Twitter.
find him.
You won't find me on Twitter. Instagram or Facebook.
So anyway, have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week.